Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Today we are filing the 2023 taxes in the year of 2024. If you've never used TurboTax before, it's super simple to just walk through it by yourself. If not by yourself, with me along the side, you can check out my other older videos to show you how to do previous years as well. But this one specifically is going to teach you how to file the 2023 taxes again in the year 2024. I'm not only going to walk through everything you need to know as we go step by step for the simplest kind of filing, but I'll also answer questions along the way, throw out some tips and tricks. And as always, you can leave your comments or questions in the comment section down below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. For now, make sure you've got something to take notes on. Sit back, relax, grab some coffee or something stronger, and let's go. You're going to go ahead and log into your TurboTax account. If you haven't already created one or have one from a previous year, go ahead and create one. It's going to bring you through a couple of things via email. Make sure you confirm yourself, and then you'll be able to get going. Once you log in, just hit Let's Go. And like every single year, you're just going to be clicking through what actually applies to you. Obviously, I'm not exactly the same as you in whatever situation you're in. So I'm going to go through a couple scenarios. But first off, as always, I'm going to just go through the simplest one, which is just one individual person without any dependents. All right, so obviously you want to maximize deductions and credits, meaning you want to get the most for your money or the most out of what you've already paid. Let's say I do have a job, I paid rent. I'm not going to click home or children or dependents. Obviously, I'll go back and do that for those of you that do have those things. This is just going to be a simple tutorial of how to walk through and how to understand how TurboTax works online. Let's say that I did donate to charity, brought a couple things to Goodwill. I wasn't unemployed. I didn't have stock or anything. Not self-employed, and then I didn't do any kind of freelance. So again, very, very basic. I'm going to say I'm comfortable doing it on my own. If you want, other experts can check this, or you can have an expert handle everything for you. I'm going to say I'm doing it on my own. Obviously, that's why I'm walking through this tutorial with you guys. You guys are walking through this because you want to do it on your own. I'm going to hit continue. TurboTax is this thing where they're always going to come back and say, hey, do you want to buy this? Hey, do you want to buy this? You're going to always click start for free. If you want to upgrade, if you're looking at it, you can later on. They're going to keep reminding you that you can do this, you can do that. I'm just going to say, hey, we're going to start for free and see where it goes. Obviously, depending on your situation, you might have to upgrade to be able to fill in certain things like self-employed and all that good stuff. But again, starting super simple. We're going to make all this up. So for those of you that are really worried about my identity, all of this is fake. Besides my name, Becca, everything else is fake. So don't worry about me. And I'm always getting messages like, oh, you guys, Becca just put like all her information online. Like, let's go and steal her identity. Does she know she's being stupid? You guys, it's completely fine. All of this is going to be fake. So let's say that I was born on August 4th, 1980. For a zip code, I'm in Minnesota. We'll do a simple one in Minnesota, and we'll say, let's see here, 55113. Okay, we love our Minnesota customers. We're in San Diego, California, by the way. I didn't know that. TurboTax is across the way on the west side. So how did you do your taxes last year? Again, it's going to apply to you. I'm going to say that because I already have all this information in TurboTax, I'm going to say I filed my own taxes. You can pull it up. If you didn't file with TurboTax, if you filed yourself last year but used, let's say, H&R Block, or you manually did it, or used one of the online sites that the government lists for you, you can actually drag and drop your file here. So if you have your taxes, pull it up, and TurboTax will scan through everything and find the information it needs to build it into this to make it easier for you. I'm going to say skip upload because in my instance, I did it on TurboTax last year. Again, we're going to go single, no dependents, no one attended college, no one owns a home, I'm not retired, I paid rent. Again, a job, let's say I did have a bank account, I didn't have any dividends, I did not withdraw from my 401k or anything like that, not self-employed. Again, none of these. You can go through all of them. Obviously, the more detailed you are, the more money you could get back or the more credits you could receive. And so if you have any of these things, and then you can put that all in there. I'm just gonna go super, super simple. You can comb through all my videos and see. Sometimes I do go through and just show you how to do one of these things. And so if you're looking for a quick tutorial on one of these things, comb through my videos to see if you can find that. Okay, you're off to a great start. Your income tax breaks, it's just saying, this is exactly what you put down. So we're going to go through all this and see, where you're standing this year. Great, let's keep going. TurboTax does this thing when they say review and sign. Basically, it's kind of just saving where you are in this spot. If you want to do that, you can. You can skip for now. It's not really a huge deal. As long as you're signed in, it should save kind of where you are. It just helps you with kind of ease of filing, and it gives you more promotions and all that stuff. And that's not always the greatest for me, so I just always skip it. But I mean, if you want to, you can review and sign it now. Buffering. Okay, here we go. So last year, I want to say it was last year, TurboTax put in this thing called race time, and it just gives you like this goal time to get all of your stuff done. It's saying, I think you're gonna finish in an hour and a minute. If you're competitive like me, maybe you can go against this clock. But it's just kind of a fun thing that they do. And so it's saying activating, let's go, let's get it done in an hour. So I said race time. It's race mode. So that's up here. You can turn it off if that gives you anxiety. Otherwise, just leave it on. And this is all going to be loaded. If you were doing TurboTax last year, it's all going to be loaded. All your information is going to be on there. So obviously, it's going to do that not only with what you put in last year, but what you just put in earlier when you signed in saying, I had this and this and this. So everything's going to be uploaded onto this part for you to be able to fill it in. I'm going to say start with my info. Obviously, Becca, testing, my date of birth. Make sure you put all that in there. Let's say this year I will be, what am I going to be this year? Online teacher, which I kind of am with you guys. So we're going to go online teacher. I am a member or former member of the U.S. Armed Forces. I am not. Again, fill this out for however it works for you. Don't exactly copy everything I'm doing. I live in Minnesota. I did not move from another state this year. I'm going to say no. No one can claim me as a dependent. No, not in this situation. I'm not legally blind. I am not preparing this for Becca. I am Becca, so I'm going to say no. And then I don't want any written communications. All right, you're going to enter your social security number. I'm just going to make one up, obviously put in your correct one, but this is going to pull up everything and ensure that it's correct. Again, making it up. So let's see. Oh, apparently that's invalid. So we'll make a real one up. I apologize if that's your social security number that I just stole. I'm not trying to do it in that way. I'm just putting it in for the sake of TurboTax. Okay, again, we are single. Do you have children or support another person? In this one, I'm saying no, that I don't have anyone else. I'm not taking care of like a young child or an elderly family member. It's just me in the household, so I'm going to say no. All right, I'm just going to put in a fake address here so that we can keep going. And I did say I was paying rent, so we'll put in an apartment. It pulled the city based on the zip code I gave. And then I'm just going to put a number here. And again, I'm invalid. Okay, let's see. 763, 500, 5,000. I really hope that's not someone's business number. Well, if you want to sign up for text messages, you can. It'll just show you the deadlines. It'll tell you if things were denied or accepted, all that good stuff. If you want to opt in or out, you can do that here. And did you make any money in any other states? I'm going to say no. All I did was stay in Minnesota and made my money here. Filing status is single. This is going to change for however you're filing though. So don't expect it to be exactly the same. Now it's summarizing all my information, my name, my status, my phone number, mailing address, and the fact that I don't have any other state income. So you can kind of see up here, we're trekking along, and it's going to continue to go until the review. Like I was saying earlier, TurboTax is always going to offer you, hey, max benefits, deluxe package, all this stuff. If you don't want to add it, you don't have to. Obviously, it compares, what's going on, what you get from that. It's really up to you at this point in time. I don't have to upgrade to continue going on, so I'm going to say don't add it. Alrighty, wages and income. I'm going to hit start. I did not withdraw from my retirement account, and I don't have any dividends from any stocks. Did you get a Form 1099-K? If you got any kind of digital payment, you'll get this depending on the company and how much you got. If you did, you'll say yes. If you didn't, you'll say no. And did I have any kind of foreign bank accounts? I did not. I'm gonna hit continue. Okay, income. If you had a job, you're going to get this thing called a W-2. I'm pretty sure most of you have seen it. I'm going to say start my W-2. You can work on it. You can say I don't have one. You can skip it for now. I'm just going to start working on it. For the majority of people, this is going to be the biggest thing that you're going to be putting down. Okay, as you can see, TurboTax is saying uploading saves time. You don't have to fill it in yourself. You can take a picture of it, upload it from your computer, and TurboTax will use AI to pull all of it. If you want to do that, you can. Because I am just making all this up for the sake of teaching you guys how to do this, I'm going to say type it in myself, but feel free to do whichever you want. And again, we are trekking a little bit closer and closer to the end where the review is. Okay, employer name. So I am an online teacher. We're going to say YouTube Industries. Again, making all this up. Don't worry about it. And we're just going to put everybody near. Oh, it automatically pulled. Awesome. If you ever have a question about any of these things, you can actually click these little buttons here, these little question marks, and it'll say, what? Well, what the heck is that? What is a control number and when do I need one? If you're new to it or if you just don't understand taxes, it'll say exactly. A control number box D is used by many payroll departments to uniquely identify a W-2 in their system. Basically, it's a number that the company uses to help them remember who you are in their system. You don't have to have it. Obviously, it's optional. If you don't have one, it's not a big deal. You can just exit out. And then you can show employee info if you want to, just to make sure that it matches, but it should. Let's review the rest. This page actually just shows you everything on your W-2. So if you took a picture, this should match up with what is on your printed W-2 or your downloaded one. Whatever you did, you took a picture, you uploaded it, it should all match. I like to go back and always check. If you're typing it in yourself, then you're on this page to actually physically look at that W-2 and say, hey, what does box 1 say? It says, you know, $50,000. Oop, too many zeros. You know, how much did I pay in Social Security wages? Let's say I paid $5,000. Medicare, $600. Federal income withheld, $1,200. And we're just making these up. Obviously, you're just going to say whatever yours is going to say. I'm making random numbers up so you can see how it tracks. But you want to make sure that box 1 matches your box 1 on your W-2. And that is the big, big key item. Again, if you're confused, those buttons are right there for you to click and it'll show you exactly where to find it and what it means. But just look for those numbers, box 1, box 3, box 5. It should always match up. Less common items, so meaning not everyone has these, they're not required. If you've got these boxes filled in, type these numbers in. If you don't, then just leave it blank and it's completely fine. If you ever have questions, you can click on those question marks again, and sometimes TurboTax even has these videos for you to explain everything that's going on. 12, this box 12 actually just refers to all these different things that you could be have taken out of your paycheck to do things like elective deferrals, you know, non-taxable sick pay, all these things that come out of your paycheck to go towards any one of these categories. So if you did do any of these things during the year, you're going to have a box 12, and in that box, your W-2 will show you, you know, DD, and then an amount like $500, or maybe it's, you know, Roth contribution after tax, like kind of like a 401k, but it's after tax, or it's any one of these. So you're going to just type in whatever you need to do to make sure that it matches whatever you put or whatever you got on your W-2. I'm going to do D just because that's very common for people these days to have a 401k. Let's say I put $5,000 into my 401k during the year. Box 13, if you have it, again, if you don't, click that button. If you're confused, then you can dive in deeper with that. If you can't find the answer via TurboTax or it doesn't make sense, leave a comment down below. And I'm just going to keep going down here. These are all not super general. For most people, you're not going to have them. Not everyone's going to have them, and that's totally fine. And down here, we get to state taxes. I'm going to make sure it's on Minnesota for me. The state ID number is going to be for Minnesota. It's 7 digits. And this is not going to match the federal ID number because for my company, it's going to be the one that Minnesota identifies it by. Federally, it'll be a different number. So don't worry that doesn't match the federal number. State wages and tips, I'm going to just put down the same that I did earlier. Make sure yours matches your W-2. And let's say I paid $5,000 in taxes. Again, making it all up, make sure yours matches yours. This down here, local taxes, if you have it, great. If you don't, it's not a big deal. It doesn't go for everyone. As it says here, leave blank if empty on your form. I'm just going to leave it blank for now. All right, and TurboTax is making sure you review everything. So if you haven't already gone through it, it's going to make you go through it again. Say, hey, box 1 said this, box 2 said this. Is that correct? I'm going to hit continue. For everything else, you're doing great. Next, we'll find you tax breaks. TurboTax is saying, okay, right now, you, based on the information you put in, what you have paid, what was taken out of your paychecks, you currently owe $3,019. Let's see if you qualify for any tax breaks to bring this down. And if not, this is what you're going to be paying. So let's just keep chugging along here. We're going to hit continue. Checking for uncommon situations, go through any of these things. Again, they're uncommon, so they might not apply to you. If they don't, just hit none of these. If they do, you're going to click them. And then when you hit continue, it'll walk you through each of those. But I'm going to make this simple and say none of them apply to me. Summarizing everything we've done with income and W-2s. I'm going to hit continue. There is the completed W-2 portion, investment savings, all this stuff. I'm going to start this. Do you have any investment income in 2023? This includes interest earned, dividends, sales of stocks, crypto, all this other stuff. If you sold your second home, land, all that good stuff, it's going to be in this section. It doesn't have to be stocks or anything. Interest earned could be, you have $100 in the bank account and you got interest on it. So I'm going to say yes. Relax. Oh, we got it. TurboTax has got it. I love how they make you feel relaxed, even though it's such a stressful thing to be going through. And a reminder, we're in race mode, so we're 17 minutes in out of the hour. We're kind of chugging along here. Back to this, importing your tax info. So you can actually look up, if you can see these, there's Charles Schwab, there's TD Ameritrade, all these options. You can actually just click through and import it. If you want to say, let's say Chase Bank, there they are. I'm going to go ahead and do enter a different way because I'm going to be making this up. But you can actually find yours. You can use the login feature. It'll just pull it straight from your vendor, your company, if they have it linked to TurboTax. If they don't, you're able to do other options like uploading it like earlier, or you can type it in yourself. So I'm going to say interest. I'm going to type it in myself just because I'm making up this company. Like I said, bring it over from my bank, upload it from my computer, snap a photo, or type it in myself. Since we're feeling super energetic today, we're going to type it in ourselves. Okay, received from YouTube Bank of America. This is not a real thing. Do not try to bank with them. Okay, interest in income. Let's say I got $50. I had a whole bunch of money in there and I had $50 from interest. Any of these uncommon situations apply. If they do, great. If they don't, say no. I'm going to say no. Your investments and savings. Time to confirm all of your information. Okay, $50 in box 1. That looks correct to me at the YouTube Bank of America. And now we are summarizing everything, your job and your investment income. If you need to add more, and it'll show you what you can add. If you don't, like me, I'm going to say done with income. Taxes are easier with experts by your side. If you are confused at this point, I will say that I think everyone can do it, but this was probably the easiest part so far. So if you're getting frustrated, a little concerned, there are experts that TurboTax offers to help you walk through a lot of this. I know some of it is free, some of it you have to pay for. If you want to look into that, you can. You never have to pay for something without knowing exactly how much it's going to cost. So there's always options for you. I'm going to hit continue. And there goes the marketing again. TurboTax Deluxe, Assisted Deluxe Max. I feel like when you put the word max, it just sounds like, I just think of prison. It probably says a lot about me. I just think about like, never mind. I'm going to stop while I'm ahead. I'm going to hit continue. We're not going to go ahead with the max because it reminds me of prison and because I don't need it right now. I'm going to hit continue. And it's just going to keep moving us along. Did you own or control a foreign bank account or trust? We said no earlier. It's confirming that no, you didn't. Did you take any disaster distributions? What's kind of easy is if you don't know what the heck TurboTax is talking about, it probably doesn't apply to you. If you're questioning it, take some time to dig into it. But usually if you have no idea what's going on, then it doesn't apply to you. While we're on the subject of things not or possibly applying to you, if you ever need help, just click the little help thing, and Intuit has this little assist button. You can type in things. You can actually click the live tax advice. It's just their AI showing you and helping you along the way. Moving on, did you have financial stake in a digital asset? Yes or no? I did not have any kind of stakes, any kind of ownership of any digital assets. I'm going to say no. For those of you who don't know what a digital asset is, you can click on these. TurboTax is great. What is this? It's an NFT, virtual currency, Bitcoin, all these things. Yes, it was helpful. We're going to exit out and hit continue. If you didn't notice, oh, they're checking in. Oh, look at these little boxes. That's great, TurboTax. I love how in tuned you are to my emotions. Federal due right now, $3,000, but you can see my Minnesota refund is $2,000, almost $3,000. And again, if you're in the United States, keep in mind, not every state even requires you to file taxes. So depending on your state, TurboTax is going to make sure that you are in the right place, doing the right things. At this point in time, I'm kind of balanced. I'm paying a lot, but I'm also getting some back. So at this point in time, I feel confident about this. Hopefully you're in a good spot too. Deductions and credits, let's start with that. We can maximize your refund with deductions. Most people get a bigger refund by choosing the standard deduction over itemizing. We'll ask you some questions to find your best option. What this means is you can go through and put in all your details to see if you'll get a bigger refund. Most people, the standard deduction, because they don't have a lot of these exceptions, they just qualify for the standard, and the standard is the best way to go. But TurboTax actually helps you do it if you want to. So you can do help me decide, or you can do continue with standard. If you help me decide, you just put in all your information and it's gonna put it into an equation and spit out yes or no, do standard or do itemizing. It really, either way, it doesn't really matter. If you don't have a lot of assets, if you don't have a lot to put in, you're probably not going to want to go into the itemizing. Standard is the best way to go for people who have simpler returns. So I'm going to go standard. I'm reminding myself to kind of slow down while I talk. Everyone's comments are like, you talk too fast. Pausing for dramatic effect. Let's find other tax breaks that might apply. Did you make any estimated tax payments throughout the year? Did you pay towards taxes at any point in time because you knew that you would owe at the end of the year just because of the way your finances are? Yes, no, I'm not sure. You'll be able to figure it out. Usually if you made a big payment to the feds, you would know. I did not. So in this case, I'm going to say no. Did you make payments on a student loan? I'm going to say no because most people were in the forgiveness period, or they were in that everything was delayed. And so I'm going to say no. If you did, you'll just put in your 1098E, which shows the form of how much interest you paid on those loans. I'm going to say no though. Did you contribute to a traditional IRA or Roth IRA? And this is going to be if you contributed outside of your employment. So if you just, let's say you had your job, and you put your 401k like I did earlier, I put in I think I put down $5,000 or whatever. That's on its own. We already put that in. If you on your own put in money to that, either that account or a different private account, then you're going to say yes. If you didn't put in money outside of your own actual paycheck being taken out of, then you're going to say no. Did you have an HSA? HSA, that's a health savings account. Basically, it's money that only you're allowed to spend on qualified medical needs, medical bills, and any kind of services. If you don't know what that is, you probably don't have one. If you're unsure, you can click learn more. I'm going to say that no, I did not have one. And then I had no foreign taxes. I did not spend money on school expenses as a teacher. If that's you, click yes. As always, TurboTax is going to lead you to the right thing. If you click yes, you're probably going to have one more step than I did because I said no, but it's just kind of following the map. So it's like, if yes, click this, and then it leads you there. If no, click this, and it leads you kind of straight to the next one. So I wouldn't worry too much about, well, that doesn't apply to me. I'm kind of just walking you through the basics so that you know how to navigate the online TurboTax program. Did anyone in your family have college or university expenses? In our family, since it's just me in the single house or single apartment that I'm renting, I'm going to say no. Did not pay an alimony, and I do not need to report my health insurance premium. If you say yes, if you had an Affordable Care Act plan in 2023 or received a 1095A, then you can actually say, yes, I do need to report it. If you need to learn more about that, go ahead and click more, learn more, and TurboTax will walk you through what you need to know and how to put all of that in. Great, we've got your tax breaks covered, and it's going to show me all my tax breaks, which obviously at this point in time I only have this one. If you have other ones, they'll be listed. If you want to search for other ones, you can. If your situation is not similar to mine and you had a mortgage, you paid property taxes, you have home energy credits, that's where all of your other tax breaks are going to be listed. Because this is such a simple one, I don't have anything else. If I had a family and all these charitable donations and all this stuff, then I could say that yes, I have them. I think earlier I did check that I did have charitable donations, so I might go through that one, but they're all going to be listed here. If you're like, wait, I've got more, or even if you don't know, it's always good to just click that expansion bar to see what the options are, because the more you put in, like I said earlier, the higher the possibility that you get money or credits back for everything you've paid or been paid. I'm going to say I have charitable donations. Oh, I don't remember revisiting that. Oh, okay, that's why. So earlier in the beginning, you guys saw that I put down that I did have charitable donations. I, brought some things to Goodwill. You may not need to enter this because you took the standard deduction, which it states here. If you didn't, if you want to add it anyways, like this, enter itemized deductions anyways, you can. Or you can say, oh, okay, well, if that covers me, I'll be fine. If you want to enter it anyways and see if it affects you, great. If you don't want to, you don't have to. I'm just going to say, okay, take me back. You know best. TurboTax will trust in you. And we are done with tax breaks. Let's check your home buyer credit, which I'm confused about because I did not buy a home. Let's say in this case, I never bought a home. I was not a genius and I did not buy a home in 2008 when everyone, was able to buy homes with nothing. And these days it's just crazy. So I am going to say no, I did not get the home buyer credit. If you did, I am jealous of you. My husband and I recently actually bought a house this past year, and our interest rate would make you cry. So I'm going to move on before I start crying about that. Great. We're all done with tax breaks. Just to recap, we've worked together to check all possible deductions and credits. We're now ready to move on to other tax situations. Hit continue. And you can see that we have already visited these. This is what we've got left. Again, chugging along over here. We're about halfway done with the federal return. Other tax situations, let's go. Did you hire a live-in nanny or household employee? Again, for this one, it's just me in this small little rental apartment that I am putting down. I don't have a live-in nanny. It'd be great if I had a live-in nanny who could cook for me, but I do not have one. I'm going to say no. Do you want to designate money to the presidential campaign? I'm going to say no. Did you experience identity theft and receive a PIN from the IRS? Again, no. Continue. Make sure everything matches your situation. Don't just copy what I'm putting down here. Uncommon tax situations, underpayment penalties. I'm going to review just because it says needs review. In this case, because of the way I just put in numbers, my numbers actually show that I underpaid so much during the year, they're penalizing me with $98 for not paying enough of my taxes. And the balance due on your return includes this penalty, meaning this amount over here, the $30.25, already includes the $98. So they're just letting me know, hey, we're fining you because you didn't pay the feds enough. Farmers and fishermen was at least 2/3 of your gross income in last year or the year before from farming or fishing. I'm going to say no. Possible penalty exception. You might be able to avoid the penalty that they just stated earlier. Again, that's not going to apply to all of you. It just happens to be the way I put in the numbers that it happened to me. But in case it does, I'm going to walk through this so you know. Was your 2022 tax liability zero? Was your 2022 return recovering a full 12-month period? Or if you didn't file last year, would have covered 12 months? Were you a citizen or resident in 2022? I'm going to say yes to all questions. No underpayment penalty. Okay, they're not actually going to charge me that penalty fee. As you saw, this actually changed from that I think it was like $30.25, and now it's down to $2,900. And that just means that because of how I answered, they're not going to charge me the fee they originally were going to. I'm going to hit done with penalty. We're almost there. Okay. If there's anything else you want to go through, you can look through all of these. Again, I said the drop down, you want to make sure you go through all of them if they apply to you, or you can search for them there if you don't see them there in the list. I'm going to hit continue. None of those actually apply to me. We're keeping it super simple. Let's confirm who you are. All of this is here. Accuracy is everything. Time for a quick review. We are coming to the end of the federal review. You want to make sure everything looks good to go, and that's what TurboTax is doing. We're going to check my info. Boop, 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 boop. It's going down. It's green. It looks like it's in great shape. So we are just going to click continue and see what else they've got to say. Great job getting through your federal taxes. You owe $2,927 this year. Owing taxes is never fun. So let's see what happened. Here's how we made sure you're paying the least amount in taxes, which, I've never seen this screen before this year. So I'm wondering if this is new or if they just upgraded it. We reduced the income you have to pay taxes on. So you're paying taxes on only $36,000 of your full $50,000 income because you took the standard deduction. Was that helpful? Yes, that was helpful. Thank you, TurboTax. So we could get your total tax amount. We owe this year, or I owe $4,127. But then TurboTax applied prepaid taxes, meaning whatever was taken out of my paycheck was already applied to that amount. What I already paid covered 29% of my taxes, but I still owe that $2,927. So $1,200 was withheld from my paychecks when I put all my W-2 information in. That's what it showed. So I still have to get to the full amount that's owed by paying that $2,900. And lastly, get a detailed view of your numbers. It's just going to break down everything I put in, all the information I put in. It's going to show, tax liability, refund, or taxes due. And in this case, because there's that little minus negative, it's not a refund, it's taxes due that I have to pay. I'm going to click continue. Now, if you want to go into state taxes, you can. I'm not going to do that and show you on that for everyone because not everyone's going to be doing that. I am going to really quickly just speed through to show you the finish and file so that you can actually know what it looks like when you're ready to file your federal return. Just 3 more steps and we'll file your return. Review the TurboTax products. Again, they're going to throw all that in your face to see if you want to pay for any of those extra features. If you do, go ahead and take a look at them. If you don't, you can, in this example, I don't have to pay anything else to file my taxes. I don't have to upgrade or anything. There might be a fee at the end, but TurboTax will let us get there. Your tax payment information to see how you're going to pay for that return, and then you're actually going to file that return. So we're going to hit start. Buffering. Your refund is $44. They say $44 because in this case, I have that Minnesota refund that is more than my federal amount that's due. They're saying it evens out and I get $44 back. I mean, depending on where you are, that may or may not work out in your favor. You might have to pay more than you owe, but this happened to work out that way. You are going to be paying for TurboTax. It looks like I was doing deluxe here, and that's what I was going to be charged. So if I had my state return here, it might cost me a little bit more too. But right now, if I'm just paying for TurboTax Deluxe, then I would be paying the $39 for that. This is the last screen I have for you guys. When you get to this point, I actually can't go any further because I'm not filing a real return, but I'm going to explain exactly what happens. This gives you the option to pay with the federal return. If you were getting money back, unlike me in this situation, you could use your refund to pay for your filing. So in this case, the $39 that I owe TurboTax would take it out of my federal return before sending me the money. So I wouldn't have to worry about paying TurboTax at all, really, on my own. TurboTax would take care of everything and then spit out the rest for me. Because I'm not getting a refund, I'm going to hit pay with credit card. I'm going to fill that out and then hit confirm payment. At this point in time, you're going to get a receipt and a confirmation from TurboTax saying, hey, you paid for this on this date. This is what it includes. Once that's complete, you're going to get spit out at the review page where you're going to get to go through everything, comb through all that you need to make sure that you have the right information on your TurboTax filing that matches all the documents in front of you. You're going to want to really make sure that everything completely aligns so that you don't have to file any kind of amendment or, you get rejected for whatever reason. And I've seen people get rejected for simple things like not spelling their name the exact way it's on, federal documents. And I know sometimes that sounds silly, but it's happened to multiple people, especially if you've got a name that's not English and it's a different language. Sometimes it doesn't translate the same exact way. And so I would make sure that however you file exactly matches your federal documents. TurboTax takes all the information you've put in, it spits it into the formal IRS documents that need to be filed and reviewed by the IRS. At this point in time, you get to actually get a copy of that, save it to your computer, print a hard copy. I do both actually because I'm old school like that. I like having a paper copy with all my documents and not just having it in my drive. For some of you, depending on what you put in, depending on your situation, you might actually have to file a paper copy and mail it to the IRS. TurboTax will tell you if that's the case and say, hey, mail everything, copies of this and this and this to this address by this date. Otherwise, TurboTax will give you the option to e-file it with the IRS. Right now, TurboTax is actually allowing early e-filing. So you can click and go through and do e-file with TurboTax, and TurboTax is going to hold on to your filing until the IRS has opened their official doors and said, we're accepting returns. So TurboTax will keep it on hold until the IRS is ready to accept them, and then it'll push your return through electronically to the IRS. That is one option if you don't want to file electronically for whatever reason. If you can't file because of your circumstance, then you'll be mailing it in. And again, TurboTax will give you all the information on the very first cover page of that PDF of your filing of your return. I know that was a lot of information. It can be tedious, but TurboTax makes it really, really simple. If you have everything you need in front of you, so you can go back and forth checking what is on your forms against what TurboTax is asking you, is going to make it a lot easier. These days, everything's available electronically. If you don't have a paper copy, check with those companies that you have assets with or have accounts with, and make sure that you download a copy or print a copy for yourself so that you can easily access it and refer to it as you're filling out this form. Like I said before, I'm going to be pushing out a lot of other videos for special circumstances or walking through just parts and bits and pieces of TurboTax. If your situation wasn't covered in today's video and you have a special circumstance or a different question, leave it down below and I will try to get to you as soon as I can. Do check out my other videos, as I will be planning to walk through a lot of different scenarios that might be helpful to you, or I might have already posted a video that would help you. Don't forget to check out my video about important deadlines and dates for you for this year. I am really, really hoping that you found this helpful, that you are feeling a lot better about taxes. And honestly, I've always used TurboTax myself. I'm not paid by them at all. I'm not promoting them. I just really happen to think that it is the best option for me in my case and for a lot of different people. It has become very popular just because of the ease of use and filing and tracking things. So best of luck to you filing your 2023 taxes. Lastly, before I let you go, don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay tuned to all the new videos about taxes and everything else this year. I would love, love, love your feedback. Any comments you want to leave below, even just shout out and tell me that you're listening in 2024. That would be great. Excited to hear from all of you. Until next time.